Namaste. I want to thank Abhayji for this very important initiative. And when he called, I knew I have to be part of this because I will say one thing. Abhayji has a distinct record of following through and starting important movements which are not just a one-shot event, a mela, a conclave, a lit fest, where there's a lot of excitement and then nothing happens. But he has started some initiatives which have a longitudinal life, one year after another, like the HMEC, various others. And I think that's what our community needs, is people who are able to bring all the resources together and create institutions. So that's why I'm here, and I'm very delighted that on this auspicious day you're launching the Hindu Media Bureau. I have a few remarks, many of which are well-known facts, and you've heard things here and there of the same kind. There's only one distinction in what I'm going to say, that every single thing I'm going to tell you is based on my personal experience, actually living these things for the last 25 years. So I've been out there doing this and accumulating my experience and turning it into paradigms and things that I can talk about. So this is from a lived experience point of view. I will critique the Hindu situation in media today. I will say where we are short, what the issue, why it's not just somebody else's fault, it's also our own limitations. And then I will also tell you what I think are the solutions. But in essence, what I'm going to tell you is, we have been very good since social media started at disrupting the old system, which wasn't fair to us. And there's a huge number of people with a lot of energy who've just gotten in. But there's a lot of noise and not enough signal right now. We need to organize, as Abhayji said, to have a force multiplier. So after the disruption, there has to be construction. So what we'll talk about is where we are at. It's also a lot of chaos on our side, and how to organize this, harmonize it, and get some construction going. So I'll start with the first slide. The first slide says that there is now a kind of a mela effect of Hindu activism. Anybody can get in. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. If you have enough emotions, enough passion, ambition, identity, you get started. You become a social media activist, start tweeting. If you have enough followers, retweeting followers, above a certain threshold, you become a well-known scholar or intellectual or expert, just because a lot of people know you. And so you hustle to become a kind of a leader of some group. And then you are suddenly invited to all the lit fests as a very important person, even though 90% of what you are saying may be just copy-paste of what somebody here and there has said. So a whole lot of copy-pasting. You can do this. Pretty soon there'll be AI systems doing it. Pretty soon there'll be AI systems, so you'll be able to, not even have to do this, but have an avatar or one of these things proxying for you, and that'll generate lots of millions of followers, because it'll know how to pick up what's the latest buzz and who to follow and what to do. And so this is how things are headed. And then you suddenly become a Hindu celebrity. You become a big Hindu. Now this is true. It doesn't take a whole lot there's no barrier to entry. Anybody can just do this. So a huge number of people are doing it. And therefore, when I go to India, I go 4 times a year ever since I've been in the United States. I have not missed a single year. And I find a lot of people very happy we're doing very well, because, they are in the limelight. So to them, limelight, personality, sensation, popularity means there is impact. Now, it is true at one level, there is impact. At a certain level of emotion, there is impact. But in the next two slides, first slide I'm going to show you what the issues are with this. And then in the following slide, I'll tell you what we have to do to go beyond this. This is okay as an entry strategy to make a splash, but it's not where we need to be. So let's go to the next slide, please. So there's a food chain. A whole lot of people are bottom feeders, and they are moving up the chain. There's an overcrowding. There's also a kind of a jealousy. You know, people are now beginning to compete. It's very interesting. I went to the Z Lit Fest in Delhi, and a young man who's a new entrant into this whole Hindu activism in the last couple of years, and who's making waves and all over the place, comes to me privately and he says, you know, I want you to help me. There's a serious problem. So-and-so is here, and he's taking our guests and he's interviewing them on the side, putting them up on his channel, and he's eroding our value. So I said, listen, you've done this to others, now others are doing it to you. That's how it goes. If you are a bottom feeder, that's how it goes. So I said, and I don't want to name anyone here, but I said, listen, you have done the same thing. You took this idea, that idea, never attributed. So you're not feeding the research, you're not feeding the roots which are producing the fruits. If you are harvesting fruits, you should also nurture the roots. That is part of your swadharma. You have to do that. But you are just quickly picking from here, there and doing it. Now others are doing it to you. Actually, this is happening. There is an overcrowding of people who are at this kind of bottom feeding level. And a whole lot of, I would say, more opinions than facts. And a lot of fly-by-night going on. And this is not merit-based, it is not based on real solid tapasya. And this is Massachusetts, one of the hubs of tech, and so you know that you have to do, for technology, you've got to put in a lot of tapasya, a lot of R&D, a lot of hard work to do something original. You cannot just live off of copying, pasting here and there. So there is a lot of short-term political one-upmanship going on. This is my reading of where we are today. And I'm saying this is better than where we were when we were not even involved. At least we are involved. So I say this is good, it's an entry. But we need to go further. So next slide, please. We need R&D think tanks. You cannot have the advantage that our opponents have. So let's say Christianity has a lot of media bureaus. And I'll talk about it in a while. Some of their media bureaus don't call themselves Christian. They disguise themselves as some human right or something like here and there. But there's all Christianity inside. It's inside the chip is the processor is the Christian one. But they are out there talking various ways. Feminism, human rights, you name it, they're in everything. So the difference is that they're connected with think tanks. Their think tanks are called seminaries. One of the world's largest and most powerful seminaries is right down the street where I live. It's called the Princeton Theological Seminary. It's one of the most important ones. So I've lived there for a long time, so I go there, I attend their stuff, I participate to understand what they're doing. And so I really know their setup. You know, on their faculty, they have 20 persons whose specialty is Hinduism. I don't know of a Hindu organization which has 20 faculty on Hinduism. There's somebody on Vaishnavism, on Shaivite, on Tantra, on women's issues, on Dalit issues, on, you know, some anthropology here, some whatever, some political people, all kind of stuff they're doing. So you will find that the study of Hinduism, and you know, it's so interesting. If I invite one of these guys to my house as a featured speaker, he knows he'll come in a dhoti, he'll have a tilak, he'll play the harmonium, he'll have sing bhajan. They're really well trained. This is very interesting. And a lot of our people say, Rajiv ji, why are you criticizing this? So nice. He just sang so beautiful. You see, so we haven't learned, because this is what Robert D. Nobili did 500 years ago. There's a long tradition. So they have the benefit of studying us much more than we have the benefit of studying them. So they can make you laugh and dance and joyful, and you'll hug them, and next turn around they can bring you down. They can talk about things that will embarrass you. So they know how to do this. So this is the benefit of having a think tank. It's long-term development of serious scholars. You know, it's very, they have the advantage that there are paid salaries. You want to become a person in a seminary, you'll be looked after. It's like a proper career. So, but a lot of people, we are training young people in India, and we take some bright, you know, people with a PhD in Sanskrit or some field, and we groom them. We have this Swadeshi Indology program, but we always run into this question. They come to me and say, what's my career? Where do I get a job? What do I do? They have to earn a living. So we don't have a whole ecosystem to also look after these people, and we need to. So we also need to train subject matter experts in a speakers bureau. I'm with there is a Hindu-Jewish coalition we've started, 2 Hindus and 2 Jews in Princeton area, which is a national thing we just started. The Jews approached us and wanted to create a Hindu-Jewish coalition, and they asked us, so we started this. So this way I got to know them very well, and they are part of, these 2 are part of a very big Jewish establishment, global one. So I got to know what all they are doing. One of the things is you can go to the website and you can ask for a speaker, your event, what the topic is, and they'll within 24 hours, either they'll email you back or they'll call you and send you a speaker. I'll tell you these 2 pick from or something. So they have a whole speakers database of people who have been vetted by them, filtered, trained, and these people have to come for workshops to get certified that they are authorized speakers. You know, so we need to have speakers bureau. So it is not like a free-for-all, anybody goes, get himself invited, just go and talk, whatever, and then others are saying, oh, he wasn't right, he doesn't even know what he's saying. Half the time, you know, we have internal fights like that because we haven't reconciled these issues amongst ourselves. Rigor, due diligence, peer reviews, debates. Now, this is not a new idea. If you look at how the old debating system worked, if you look at the old system of Gurukuls and Pathshalas, there was a course where you do Purva Paksha of your opposing school of thought. Purva Paksha means due diligence. You go and do study of the other school of thought. You learn to be on their team, represent their point of view so effectively that those guys will be impressed by how well you've represented them. That's the level of Purva Paksha you have to achieve before you are allowed to come back on our team and respond to them. So this is how brilliant it is. So you're in that curriculum, your guru will say, okay, we're going to assign you to this team. Now you go, you're part of that team. You are on their side and you're going to represent their team and defend them and articulate, give answers from their point of view. When you are certified that you really got it, you really mastered all their arguments, then we'll bring you on our team and respond to them. That's Purva Paksha. That's the level of rigor we have to achieve. So, and then we need our own publications. Somebody mentioned in the introduction Wikipedia. Just today, someone was telling me that they're having a lot of difficulty updating the Wikipedia pages on Hinduism because it's so biased, and you know, it is true, that is true. In fact, I'm doing a project on biases in Wikipedia, and that's one of the things we should do in the Media Bureau. So these people were saying that it looks very democratic on the surface. But when there are disputes, these have to be resolved by people with a higher level of standing, and then if they can't agree, then it keeps going. At a certain level, all the people there are Hindu-phobic. They are, at the end of the day, if it's a very controversial issue, you're not going to get a fair hearing. And then if these guys challenge, if our people challenge, they are told that you have to bring peer-reviewed academic proof. Peer-reviewed academic proof. So the peer review is a cartel. I wrote an article about 20 years ago called the peer review cartel on one of these websites. The Indian, what is this? A very prominent leftist newspaper in India asked me to write this. So on the peer review cartel. So it is basically a cartel where they support each other, and I'll do a review for you, you do for me, my student, you appoint here, there. So it's a kind of a incestuous ecosystem. And so this peer review cartel also controls the journals, the academic presses. So if you submit a very provocative proposal, it's not going to get in from our side if you submit. But a lot of things substandard. In fact, I'm criticizing things published by Harvard University Press, Princeton University Press, Columbia University Press with blatant misinformation, things that every person with a basic knowledge ought to know, but it gets through. So they ask for peer review. So that means we are outsiders. We can't do it. But I'll tell you a little trick. If you look at my Wikipedia page, it's written by my opponents, and my followers quietly get in little bit. If they do too much, then they hit back. But there's one thing which is not subjective but very objective. It's right or wrong. My date of birth is wrong on Wikipedia. And I won't correct it. Because every time they tell me we need peer-reviewed proof of what you are trying to say, I tell them, give me a peer-reviewed proof that you got my date of birth right. My date of birth is the same on my passport, my driver's license, my birth certificate, my school certificates, my college certificates, my bank records, everything has got the exact correct birth, my thing. But what happens is, when you open, many years ago, when you open some account on Google or somewhere, one of the optional things is you put your date of birth. So I just, for heck of it, put something. Similar, same age, but wrong date. And it's very interesting how it's propagated because they sell the data to each other. So they just pick up from there and they data mined it and picked up the wrong date. And I don't correct it on purpose. So I can say, look, you guys don't have my date, so what the heck are you talking about peer-reviewed information? Next, please. So this is the life cycle of a market. What I was telling the gentleman in the Z festival is that there's a market shakeout. So real quick, there's a pioneer, somebody comes up with a new issue, a new topic, and he champions this new topic. And he says, okay, let's talk about it. So it takes a while to get acceptance and legitimization because people make fun of him. When I write a book, one of the signs of success is that a lot of our people don't know what it means, why it's important, they don't agree with it, and that tells me, okay, I have my work cut out, I have some work to do, because what I don't want is to write a book where everybody says, yeah, we already know all this. So if it's an uphill battle, okay, that's something a pioneer will enjoy. At some point, it's accepted, and then there's rapid expansion in the sense everybody's copying that, everybody's doing the same thing, they're just recycling that knowledge. And then it reaches an overcrowding. Too many people all talking about the same problem. They're not expanding. If you want to go after Hindu phobics, okay, we've done a few, then you go after some more, not the same guys. Bring more examples. Then there's a shakeout because there's overcrowding, too many people chasing the same, there's no room for so many. And then there's a consolidation of the marketplace and few survivors. And then this maturity of that market, and then it becomes obsolete and that topic is kind of old. So this is typical life cycle of a market. Next, please. Now here's how I like to organize my structure of what's going on, the knowledge distribution. There are knowledge producers on the top left, and there are consumers. This is typical market structure of whether you're in technology, whether you're in whatever field you're in, whatever your product is. And in between, you need a distribution channel. The producer, the R&D person, product producer needs a distribution channel to reach the consumer. Very rarely is the person also distributing his own product. Most of the time, if you are a product specialist, somebody else is a marketing specialist. This is true in your companies also. So B2B is business to business. That's the kind of, when you go to a medical conference, it's B2B, because you have doctors, you have medical scientists, you have pharmaceutical companies, you have FDA. So you have people who are the producers of knowledge. You don't have patients. Your patient doesn't go to a cardiology conference. It's cardiologists and all the people who are making technology and all of that. They are the people there. I mean, if you go to an aerospace conference, it's not the passenger who goes there to get a ticket and fly. It's the Boeings and Airbuses, and it's all the airlines and the FAA, and it's their trade business. So when you look at B2B, in our tradition, that is what the Pandit and the Acharyas, the scholars, were doing with Shastra. Shastra is a B2B product. Shastra is not a consumer product. That is why you needed a Pandit or somebody to interpret it for you. And so people mistakenly have come to the conclusion, reached the wrong conclusion, that they are exclusivists, they are privileged, they are keeping other people out, they are not giving access to ordinary people, they are Brahmins keeping it to themselves. Well, these Brahmins keeping the Shastra to themselves is like the aerospace engineers keeping the knowledge to themselves, or the medical experts keeping that knowledge to themselves, because it's very technical, they have a technical vocabulary, it takes years of training, and talking to consumers will waste time and also be irresponsible because people will get mixed up. So the B2B people are exclusive. They are meant to be elitists. This is true in every domain. It's not just true in Shastra domain. You go to any domain, the people who are really the researchers at the cutting edge and knowledge producers, product producers, they usually stick to each other and they talk amongst themselves. And so the B2B space is where R&D has to happen. The B2C is business to consumer. I'm using business language, but business is not just a profit-oriented kind of implication here. Anybody who is a supplier is a who is a supplier to and talks to other suppliers. That's the B2B space. And those who are in the marketing business, they are the businesses that are marketing to the consumer. So in our tradition, Kavya is different from Shastra in that Kavya is the user-friendly consumer interface. So Kavya is poetry, music, dance, theater, storytelling, and it's the same knowledge as the Shastra, but now it is for the general public. So the knowledge is not kept hidden, the knowledge is not kept away from the public, it's just that it is presented in a different way for the public to consume, whereas the Shastra is where the technical debates are going on among experts. Experts talking to experts is what the Shastras are developed for. They're very technically written. Okay, and the same thing when it's to be brought to the public, it's done in a dance, in a story, in some kind of a multimedia form. The person, you'll be surprised, I was very, very impressed. The person who gave me this insight into what I'm calling Kavya, B2C, was none other than the Kanchi Shankaracharya. I sat down with him for several hours, had a long discussion, I've had a few. The private conversation, just one-on-one, and he says, आपको क्या करना चाहिए? He speaks Hindi, he speaks Sanskrit, he speaks English, all kind, So this is the junior one who's now Shankaracharya. So he says, Patrakar, journalist, Chitrakar, one who writes painting and all that, makes chitra. Kathakar, the one who tells katha, storyteller. Kalakar, artist, yeah? Natya, the dance. So he says, this is our multimedia. So what you have to do is telling me what I should be doing. He says, what you have to do is popularize these for today, using today's knowledge. So you have to create the Shastra for today. Today's thinking, today's R&D, what's relevant for today's society, what should be our social theory, what should be our, all kind of different domains where we need new Shastra. So create that and then set up other people to do the Kavya part of it, turn all that knowledge into, popular user-friendly forms. This is very interesting. This means that if there were some people doing the Kavya part of this whole thing, I would be so happy just sticking to my R&D, writing books, because that's what I enjoy. People who are R&D people, honestly, very rarely they want to go out and do their marketing because they would love to have somebody else do it, so they can just sit there. At heart, I'm a nerd kind of a person. I enjoyed getting up 5 in the morning and writing some book and reading here, there, and getting deep into some issue and all that. But the sad part is, if I just do that, nobody else is going to take it to the market for me, so I also have to spend much of my time going on YouTube and going on this and that and getting my ideas out. You may think that this guy enjoys all that. I'll tell you the secret is I actually would rather not. So if the Media Bureau want to take over all my channels, I will be so happy and say thank you. If you want to take over my channels, take the knowledge I have, because I have 15 more books to finish. 15 more books I have promised I have to finish, where I've been doing the research for 25 years. They are done to various degrees now, almost done. And I want to get 3 of them done this year alone. So I need to focus on the left side of that chart, and work with somebody else who can be dedicated, who can be loyal, who can be honest about it, and take these things and turn it into user-friendly e-learning and all kind of stuff. And I would rather just get out of that and focus on what I do best. So this is the idea I have on how Media Bureau needs to set up a collaborative think tank to do the R&D, and then each side does what they do best. And then we don't have this hocus pocus, everybody running around trying to do everything and nobody being that good at it. Next, please. So you need knowledge. And this knowledge has to be turned into narrative for consumption. You have to use this knowledge and train human resource, because you need more people who know this knowledge, whether they are, more scholars to continue this. And then you need to institutionalize. So when the human resource, the current generation of human resource you produce are gone, there is an institution to keep producing more. And you need to support the human resource. You need to protect them. Our opponents have in their institution, they not only are generating human resource and funding the knowledge and all that, but they are providing them with legal support. They are providing them with media support, political support. They'll go and put a petition in the European Union. They'll put a thing in the US Congress. I mean, they're really active in intervention. So you have to decide, is your Media Bureau also going to get involved in interventions, institutional interventions, whether it's with the US Congress, whether it's whoever it is with, whether it's legal cases, these are very important things. So before closing, I will just say give a few ideas, not wanting to put a whole lot more burden on Abhayji, because I know what he's doing is important and he has a lot on his plate. But I think that there are other resources also in this room, and so these are just ideas where I feel we are short and we need to get organized. One is, our opponents have a coordinated press release regularly. I know somebody who's part of a group where they have a morning 15-minute conference call. This is our opponents. And they are told that this is the talking points. And they all go on social media, they keep pushing that idea. It's a coordinated effort. And then you can get traction. Then you can get, it can go viral because it's happening. There is also, there are algorithms that Facebook and Twitter, etc. have, that if more than a certain number of people complain about your post, the algorithm will shut it down and send you a notice and even block your page. And then you have to say that no, it is wrong, and then somebody will look at it and they'll unblock it, but it'll take a couple of days. Meanwhile, you've lost the momentum. Recently in New Jersey, one Hindu lady had an argument on Facebook with a Muslim, a Pakistani, about this recent India-Pakistan fight. And this Pakistani is well known to us. Their couple is very active, socially active with the whole Hindu circle. They're very socially active. But they are assertive, tough, no-nonsense Pakistanis. So she got this Hindu's page blocked. And how did she get it blocked? She just called enough people in Pakistan, and they all have an organized way to go complain. And this person's page got blocked. And then this person didn't have any help, sort of didn't know what to do, running around trying to get it unblocked. So this is, we need to be able to not only defend our people when they are attacked, but we need to be able to do it to the other side. That's part of media, is to have a kind of a group effect. There are websites that do petitions. You can go set up a petition. But you know something? They will not give you the list of people who signed. They will not, the email list belongs to them. Email lists are very precious. So if I do a petition and I get 1 lakh people supporting me, I want to get their email list. But the petition websites, petition.org and all these kind of things, they will not give you. So the Media Bureau should set up our own petition thing and promise to the petitioner that we will give you the list. Maybe you also keep it, but that person should also keep it. This is a good feature that we could do. So this, we should have a speaker bureau. We should definitely have a speaker bureau. Now, you know, Hinduism is the only major religion whose library of texts is not available in computer searchable form. Computer searchable form. I've talked to the guys in JNU, I've talked to the guy in Delhi University. May I complete my talk? No, I understand, but may I complete my talk? May I complete my talk? So, there are several people who set up a little bit here and a little bit there, but I'm talking about something more. If you want to do research on the Bible, it's not just the Bible book I'm talking about. There's more than a few thousand works on the Bible, commentaries, St. Augustine's work, St. Aquinas' work, this particular sampradaya, that particular school, this particular fight, this litigation, whatever is the whole biblical history is available. So if you were to put in a topic, it's an AI kind of system. It'll give you not only where it occurs, not only where this particular term occurs. Searchable today is not a dumb search, like you get one word and you compare it in search. Searchable today is in the context. It'll tell you in the Christian context, in the Christian sense, and also the Jewish texts. It'll tell you this person said this person responded, this is this. You get a whole kind of a debate on that topic. And so your job as a researcher becomes much easier. You go into a fight with all that knowledge. You go to, then somebody tells you something, you can answer back. You see. So having this kind of knowledge would be a great asset. Kind of an AI-based search engine should be possible today. You should be able to enter in Devanagari or in English or whatever, and you should be able to do it in Marathi or Bengali, and you should be able to get this kind of knowledge. Now this is the kind of heavy lifting. It's not something individuals can do. You either need a billionaire to fund this for a long time, for many years. It'll take 1,000 man-years or more. This is huge work. It's not, we are happy with chota mota sir, humke paas hai, ho gaya. We are satisfied with very little. You got to be at the cutting edge. If we have the brains in software to do this, we should have the most efficient, most powerful, AI-based expert systems. So what our opponents are developing are that you'll be able to enter an issue. They already have where you enter a particular search topic and they will search it out for you. But now it's like I have this need, I'm arguing with this fellow on this issue, what do I say? And it'll give you an argument, what you should argue. So almost like an expert constructing your argument for you, using their texts and references. So this is something we need. So this fact-checking, just basic fact-checking. We don't have a fact-checking resource. I was, 20 years ago, something happened, just 2 more minutes. Just 20 years ago, and the things haven't changed, but 20 years ago, there was one Consul General of India in New York. We got to know each other, and he knew that I'm tracking these things. So one day he calls me, he's in a limo going to Boston for an event, South Asia event he's inaugurating at Harvard. So he calls me and says, you'll be happy to know, man, I'm going to this South Asia event, and what should I say? Like this, as if, I'll just rattle out something, So I said, no, but tell me who else is there? Who are these people? So he hadn't even thought of who else is there as it matters. So he looked at the program and he told me this one, that one, that one. I said, okay, this particular one is a well-known Kashmir separatist. This other one is a Khalistani. They're going to get you. Okay? And you don't even know what you are going in for. And he said, Acha? I said, yeah. So there was one guy, this Ethan Allen, the chairman of Ethan Allen. His son got killed in Kashmir, and it's on his website that he died because the Indian army, he had fighting with the Indian army, they killed him. So this is a proud fellow. And he was on their board and all that stuff, some Asia studies and Asia Society, and Harvard had some organization. He was on their board. There were people, Khalistani people like that, And this is the Council General of India. So then he turned around and went back and called in that he can't come. So then I went and saw him and I said, doesn't the Ministry of External Affairs have a cell in Delhi that, when you are invited, call them. There should be some rule that before you accept, you call and check them out. Who are these people that are inviting me? So they don't make a fool out of me. And he said, no, we don't have anything like that. 20 years have gone by, we still don't. There is the Indian Council of Cultural Relations. The person who heads it is a wonderful person, nice man. I met him a few times. Means well, but I'm talking about institutional shallowness. There is no place that now I have had, I don't want to name, but I've had a very, very prominent cabinet minister in Thailand Sanskrit conference, where I was talking about my book, The Battle for Sanskrit. It was about to come out. And so some people who really are closed into this issue, some Sanskrit people, told her that you should meet Rajiv privately. So we had a private meeting. And in the private meeting, one person stood up and said, he's fighting all these people who are making fun of our tradition and Sanskriti and all that stuff. And this cabinet minister said, no, don't worry. We'll only give grants to those who come properly dressed, who can speak properly Sanskrit. So the whole problem is that that's the kind of people, that's how they've already interfered. I mean, the people who infiltrated the rank and file of our tradition are able to speak very well, are able to dress very well. So our naivete is huge. Now I could go on, but I think you get the idea. These are our challenges. The final one you can put up there. If you wish to contact, you can call us in any of these forums. The important one is you can join. I have a e-group with over 7,000 members on Yahoo Groups. We discuss every day issues, topics, whatever, and would love to have as many of you who are interested to join us. And thank you, Abhayji, for this wonderful event. I'm on board. Anything I can do for you, I will do. Namaste. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here and also hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified. To donate, please click this button.